The curious why, why? When I was 6 years old, my parents gave me a copy of The Curious Little Owl by Frances Ruth Keller. The story went like this. Once upon a time, there was a family of owls, Father Owl, Mother Owl, and Little Owl. The mother and father modeled the correct hoo, hoo behavior when animals passed by. Little Owl said nothing. Mother Owl was worried about her son, but Father Owl was sure he would surprise them. One day, Little Owl saw a rabbit hopping along and cried, "Why? Why?" Oh dear, that was not the surprise Father Owl had expected. Mother and Father explained that owls mustn't say "why," only "who," as a polite way of saying hello without expecting an answer. Little Owl replied, "I can see who it is. I just wanted to know why." In her January 7th, 2020 blog post, writer, editor, and coach Lisa Ellison wrote, "Every essay and story must contain a why. The why is the story's point and the reason we should care about the work. It's often phrased as, 'Why this?' or 'Why now?' or 'Why you?' As the writer, it's your job to clearly articulate the why of your writing in the most engaging way. But have you ever thought about the why of your writing life?" Last week, I struggled to rewrite the opening chapter of my faith memoir because I haven't quite found my writing's point. Why this? Why now? Why me? I asked. When I began to question the why of my writing life, I consulted another authority, Andrew T. Lepoe. In his book, Write Better, a lifelong editor on craft, art, and spirituality, Lepoe asks, "Why did I write? Probably first and foremost, I wrote it for myself. And that's not a bad thing. I wanted something inside me to get out. So I did it. Was the process enjoyable? Did I improve my skills? Was I pleased with the result? Did I learn something along the way? Well, then that's worthwhile." The why. Lisa Ellison offered further insight. In creative nonfiction, we excavate real life in search of truth. In fiction, we push past the bounds of reality as a way to exemplify truth. In poetry, we use space, brevity, and precision to laser in on something essential. The question is not whether the writing affects you, but what effect you want the writing to have on you and the reader. The why? Why? So what happened to the curious little owl who said, "Why? Why?" Mother and Father told him to ask them his questions, which he did, often and sometimes without thinking, much to his parents' distress. They sought help from Great-Grandfather Owl, who asked Little Owl why he said why instead of who. "I found out ever so many things that way," Little Owl replied, and told Great-Grandfather the many things he'd learned. Impressed, Great-Grandfather Owl advised Little Owl's parents to answer their son's questions, and if they were unable to answer them, send him to Great-Grandfather. The old owl turned to Little Owl and said, "Of course, you must try to find the answers to your questions yourself, too, Little Owl. The answers that you find out for yourself you will learn best and remember longest." The sage advice transformed Little Owl. Now he shared this learning with the forest animals who consulted him. The curious why? Why?